Frostnova is one of, if not the most interesting, early stage Arknights characters. As a part of the main story, she's really the first deep look into Reunion to see what actually makes up some of the team's leaders. In chapter 4, we well and truly get introduced to Mephisto and Frost, and despite both being leaders in Reunion, they couldn't be more different. Mephisto is a harsh and malicious piece of shit, and Frostnova is a calm and very cold individual, pun very much intended. However, in chapter 5, we get to see how truly psychotic Mephisto is, whereas in chapter 6, we get to see the deep-seated humanity in Frostnova. So if you know anything about Frostnova, you're going to know that this video is entirely based around the tragedy that is her very existence. She, as an infected from Ursus, was treated to some downright inhumane conditions, being forced to work in Originium mines as a child. However, she was saved by one of the goats, another character who will eventually get his own video, Young Patriot. And by young, I of course mean very much old Patriot, but you get what I'm trying to say. After being raised by Patriot, Frostnova goes on to become one of the leaders of Reunion. And as a leader, she is extraordinarily capable, being both a great tactical leader as well as absurdly strong in her own right. Due to this, when she first makes some moves against Rhodes Island, she is able to instantly put out Mephisto's flames that he set up when he burnt down a building. Obviously, this ties into her character by showing the difference between her and Mephisto, but it also demonstrates the sheer power that Frostnova has. During the course of this battle, Frostnova and the Doctor end up buried together, and after Reunion and Rhodes Island team up to save their respective leaders, Frostnova lets them go. But during this heart-to-heart, Frostnova reveals to the Doctor some of her own abilities and some of her backstory, like how she was never able to touch another person due to her freezing earth, except for Patriot, although I did hurt Patriot to do this. And due to her oripity, Frostnova is dying from exhaustion of using her ult, which in chapter 6 leads to not just her own, but the death of the entire Yeti Squad. And for pretty much all Arknights players, I would say, or at least the vast majority who actually read the story, this is the first real tragic, potentially tear-jerking moment that they will come across. And as a parallel between the Doctor and Amia and Tallulah and Frostnova, it is pretty impactful. Frostnova, even Frostnova, even posthumously, is accepted as a member of Rhodes Island. Her death symbolizes a change in the story of Arknights. Not only are the enemies of Rhodes Island purely evil or destructive forces, they can also be potentially Rhodes Island members. Frostnova definitely suits Rhodes Island as an individual. I think it's also pretty important to note that chapter 6 is the first time we see a non-infected member of Rhodes Island as a more antagonistic individual, as she displays that the bigotry towards infected is not just limited to the enemies of Rhodes Island. Even their own members can hate or fear the infected, which really does add a lot to the story of Arknights, as you can see how deeply rooted both the fear and hatred of the infected is in the world of Arknights. Frostnova is definitely a character I wish could be playable, but it is unfortunately never going to happen. Unless IS4 is based around a Reunion alternate timeline, which is possible, but I would say highly unlikely. Although I do have to say, why the hell did they make Savage look so much like Frostnova? What do they mean by this? Why would they do this to me? So yes, Frostnova is truly just a tragic character. However, I think the fact that not only do we see her as a good person, but she also dies as a result of her actions does elevate the character a lot more than if she would just have simply survived and joined Rhodes Island. Through Frostnova and the Yeti Squad, we actually got to see some internal reunion action and how similar the Yeti Squad and Frostnova is to Rhodes Island and how we view them, at least at this point in the story. It's incredible. Like, from pretty much the moment we know about Frostnova in Chapter 6, we know she's dying. And all of the Yeti Squad, while knowing this, still sacrifice themselves, even to give her the chance to see Patriot again. All of them die, not knowing if she actually got out of Lungman. I mean, she didn't, but all of Yeti Squad is dead, hoping on the last bit of life they have left that she managed to escape and see Patriot one last time. Which, the tragedy surrounding this character, it's a nice thick layer, and it's amazing. And the PVs that Frostnova appears in, incredible. Definitely one of my favorites, purely for the story it tells. But that's it. I'm finally gonna put this down, otherwise this video will never be finished ever. So I'm just gonna keep going on talking about it. But that's it. Good luck, good day, peace to you all.